And okay, so we're live now, I believe. And now we're here, 2026, and my top 25. Well, I do have a top 25 as well, but I just want to do top 10 and five honorable mentions. So here they are for you. This changed a lot throughout the year, and I was curious as how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you, I always start off the year, and I'm never knowing exactly where I'm going to fall with my top 10. And ultimately, it does happen where it surprises even me a lot. But we're here and now we're going to discuss it. So drop below your top 10 in the comments down below. I'm curious to know what you thought was the best movies of 2025. And we'll discuss more about that in the future. Here is my top 10 right now. As you can see, the five honorable mentions at the bottom: One Battle After Another, Sinners, Friendship, Bring Her Back, and Superman. No particular order for these five. I just thought that they were five that were at the top 10 at one point, and then ultimately shifted around. I did see the last movie of this list like this last week, so it was a very, very changed top 10 from what I had like even 3 weeks ago. But I just have different ways of loving and making my list. I do have a list where I could do like the best, like quote unquote technical movies, but these were just movies that meant a lot to me this year and really impacted me. I could see them again and again. So yeah, like I said, I really love One Battle After Another. I really love Sinners, Friendship, Bring Her Back, Superman. These five at one point were in my top 10 for various reasons. Ultimately shifted around throughout the year, and then at the end of the day didn't make the cut, but I still think they should be mentioned there. I think One Battle After Another and Sinners are definitely going to sweep at the award season this year. They are both technically well-made films and exactly what awards go to, I think. And then you have Bring Her Back, a horror movie that I really enjoyed more than a lot of other people did. I thought that it was such a great look into grief and what one goes to extreme lengths in order to sort of like appease that grief. I thought it was well done, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do next, these brothers. Superman, I thought, was a comic book movie unlike we've seen in a long time, where it really is just pushing for hope. I feel like we've gotten too deep into the quote unquote dark night of the superhero films, so it's great to see something take a step back and decide to do a different route. So I'm excited for James Gunn's DC. Now, with all that being said, talking about the top, well, not the top, but the honorable five down here, I do want to move into the top 10 now, so make sure you drop your top 10 down below. I'm curious to know what yours is. Don't be shy, don't worry, we're not here to judge. Everybody has a different top 10, and that's fine. But at number 10 on my list is going to be Frankenstein. This is the new film from Guillermo del Toro. I'm going to attempt to be putting pictures up as well. I'm not too good at doing these, but let's put up some pictures up here. So yeah, as you can see, some of the imagery in Frankenstein was so incredible to me and just so well done. And I think Mia Goth was underutilized a bit in this movie. I thought she was great throughout this whole role. And I feel like if we had a bit more of Mia, this movie really would have maybe catapulted even higher on my list because she was incredible throughout. But of course, the main star in here is going to be Jacob Elordi. I think Elordi has his best performance to date here, and I'm not like exaggerating or anything. This movie had me in tears towards the second half, especially the ending. Elordi's performance here is just on another level, and I'm excited to be seeing him get his flowers with nominations and all of that. We'll see what happens when it comes to winning actual awards. I know he won one already, I think at the Critics' Choice Awards, so that's always a good step right there. But I thought Frankenstein was really great, honestly. Such a tremendous film about compassion, about creation, about life, about death, and all of that. And I think Guillermo really knocked it out of the park here. I know there was a lot of controversy with him sort of being like taking a sharp left turn with the book and all that, which I get. But that's one thing that I've come to realize is to not expect adaptations to really get the adaptation like you did, because we all get different things from adaptations. Well, not from adaptations, but from books, from video games, from things like that. We all get something different out of it, and it's going to be impossible to give a universal film about a book or other media turned into film. Just like with video games. Video games in general are very hard to make just because you can't really get the same experience that everybody had playing the game. So I'm curious how that Legend of Zelda movie will be. But let's move on to number 9 on my list, which is going to be the film Die My Love. This is the new film from Lynn Ramsey. This actually stars Jennifer Lawrence. You had Robert Pattinson in this. And this was one of my most anticipated films of the year. I'm going to tell you that right now. This movie was a movie that I was so curious what Ramsey was going to deliver here, and I was not disappointed. Ramsey delivers yet another hard-hitting, very complex, very, I would say, brutal and raw portrayal of somebody going through such a hard time. And y'all, bear with me. I'm not good at doing lives and like changing pictures and all that. Do I need like a Steam Deck or something? Not a Steam Deck. I do want a Steam Deck though, but like something to be able to switch these pictures better. But nonetheless, I think Jennifer Lawrence did an incredible job here, and I think that her and Pattinson are truly, truly stars. But Lawrence, of course, is the main one here. This was a movie I went to go see in theaters, one of the hardest viewing experiences because it is done in a poetic way, which both Lawrence and Ramsey have confirmed. So a lot of things that you're seeing aren't really the truth or aren't really what's going on. It is more about trying to sort of get a feeling of what's going on, and you sense everything and really to your core feel what this woman is going through. And I thought that Lawrence performed it in a way that just made so much sense, and I really, really did appreciate that. So this was one of my favorite films because of that, because it was such a hard movie to watch and such a movie that provokes so many emotions throughout and thoughts that you're just trying to grasp with it at the end. And I think a movie does its job when you're still thinking about it a day later, a week later, a month later, which I am. It's due for a rewatch, and I want to do another video, so stay tuned. But Die My Love does come in at number 9. Now let's get into the next one on my list, which is going to be the film Begonia. Now, I really love Begonia. I really do. I was excited to see what Yorgos did next, and Begonia did not disappoint. This new film starring Emma Stone as well as Jesse Plemons was truly, truly incredible. I saw it at Fantastic Fest. I believe it was one of the secret screenings. Yeah, it was one of the secret screenings. And I was like, you know what? When this movie comes out, I'm going to go see it again. And I did. I thought Emma Stone was incredible in this. She really portrays such an interesting and complex character, and you don't know exactly how to feel about it, right? It's a movie that really tries to push the eat the rich narrative in a different light than we've seen it before, and it was getting kind of corny. I'm not gonna lie. The eat the rich narrative and the whole like films that were coming out of it felt corny. They felt hollow. They really didn't feel like they were pushing for any class consciousness. But when you have a film like Begonia like this that comes up and rattles everything, it really gives a good, I would say, headspace to think about the future of these type of films. And I think Begonia showcases that you can really rattle things up and still deliver a great film. I think that the second half of Begonia, Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone dialing it up to like a 10-11 is really why the film delivers, because you see these performances from the beginning to where they end up, and it's just an incredible day and night. It is just beautifully done. I think this is Yorgos' best film to date in my opinion, but I don't know. I really am excited to see what he does next, Emma Stone and Plemons as well. And we move on to the next film on my list, coming in at number 7, I believe. This is going to be the film Presence. Presence was one of the first films I saw. I actually saw it about a year ago in January in 2025. This is a movie that I wanted to watch at Sundance. Sadly, I will not be going to Sundance this year. Second year in a row, y'all. They did me dirty. But anyways, I really love Presence. I thought it was such an incredibly done film about family, about trauma, about sort of feeling like a ghost in your house. And this is a movie that I really think about so much. I haven't seen it since because it was so hard-hitting. I do want to rewatch it because I think there's so much in it that you have to really appreciate with a second viewing. But I really did enjoy this movie a lot, and I'm excited to see more of these actors. Steven Soderbergh as well is always great. And a movie that I thought just sounded like a pure gimmick turned out to be one of my favorites of the year. I mean, that's how it surprises you sometimes, right? But truly check out Presence if you haven't. It is great. Really, really great stuff here. But let's move on to the next one on my list. It is going to be, of course, 28 years later, The Bone Temple at number 6. So Presence was 7. The Bone Temple. Well, not The Bone Temple, y'all. 28 years later. The Bone Temple comes out next week. I'm excited for that also. Y'all, I need to get better with these editing all of these pictures. But The Bone Temple was really one of those movies. Oh, see, I keep calling it The Bone Temple. I'm just ready for The Bone Temple. That's what's going on. But The Bone Temple, there I go again. But 28 Years Later was one of those movies that really surprised me a ton. This is a movie that I expected something else and got the complete opposite, and I'm happy for that because this movie was a movie that really opened up your eyes to what exactly does it mean to live in a world after the world ends, and what exactly does it mean to be human, to be a person or living thing, as they call it, right? Who exactly is the villain here? And I really appreciated the final moments in this movie. This was such a well done, executed, very experimental, I will say as well, which is always great to see a director do so, especially for a director of Danny Boyle's age, to continue to try and experiment with movement, with camera, with sounds, and all of that. This movie does that, and that's exactly what I want from a film, to push the boundaries of what I think is possible from movies. And it was just incredibly well done, and I'm excited for the Bone Temple. Cannot wait. But yeah, this was one of those movies that just always stayed at the top 10 for me. Next one on my list is going to be No Other Choice at number 5, the new Park Chan-wook film that is not being pushed as much as I think it should be by Neon. Neon, get on it. Don't just get some movies because you want to win some awards and then you forget all about them. Keep pushing them. But this was well done. I think Lee here, who stars in the film, is just on another level. The cinematography, the camera work, everything. Park Chan pushes this to a very, very interesting corner. And just when you think it is going to stay in that corner, it fights back and turns into something different, which I really loved. It blends comedy, it blends bleakness, drama in such an incredible way. And I was just blown away by this movie when I watched it at TIFF. Has not left my mind since. I do want to make a video for it because I think its ending is so poignant and strong. So stay tuned for that this week. But truly, truly great stuff. Next one on my list is going to be a film that if you asked me like about a year ago, would I even watch this anime? I'll tell you, I haven't. And this is going to be Chainsaw Man Reze Arc, which is basically like season 1.5 or 2 of Chainsaw Man. This is a movie that I didn't even know anything about, to be honest. Like, I'm going to tell you, I went to go watch Perfect Blue about a week or two before this movie came out, and I just saw this trailer play, and I was like, holy shit, I have to go watch that movie. This looks incredible. But of course, I had to watch Chainsaw Man Season 1, the series, first before you go watch it, because this is a continuation of that. And my goodness, my mind blown. This was such an incredible film. I think the anime is great as well, and everything about this, from the music to the way that the images are structured and all of that, the voice act, it is just stupendous work. I've been really getting into anime again this year, and besides Chainsaw Man, also Dandadan, I'm excited to see where anime goes next. But Chainsaw Man Reze Arc really blew me away. Such a great film. So at number 3 on my list, we have Hamnet. I always loved Chloe Zhao ever since I saw Eternals, and I think she has such a humanity to her work that is unexplainable to me. I just don't get how she's able to really capture what it feels like to be a human, right? And to have these emotions, but she does it so well. And Hamnet's no difference. Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal are incredible here. And I do think that Jessie Buckley is a for sure front runner when it comes to award season. I do think that Amanda Seyfried is going to be great competition. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I really do love Buckley's performance here. The final shot scene of this movie broke me into pieces. I cried at the theater like I've never cried before. And it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. And this is such a incredible film about loss, about going through grief, about finding life in a moment when everything seems dark and looking forward into the future, but still thinking about the past. It just made me think of so many things, and I do have a longer video talking about that, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into the final 2 here, and I will tell you, Marty Supreme came in at number 1 about a week ago. But then I saw another movie. But still, let's get into Marty Supreme right now. Timothée Chalamet, I think, is going to win the Oscar. No doubt about that in my mind. I think Timothy, as an actor, here really took it to another level, unlike anything I've seen from another actor. This is a movie called Marty Supreme. So we got Marty Supreme front and center. You were able to see Timothée Chalamet throughout evolve, and eventually see the finale. And I think Josh Safdie crafted something truly incredible here. A American epic that just feels contained at the same time. It is just a story about this guy who was trying to be a ping pong champion, but at the same time, you see the flaws of everything going on in our world, and you see the flaws of somebody even today. Marty Supreme might have been in the 50s, but you kind of know somebody who is Marty Supreme today, and I really do love what Joss was able to do with that, and it's just an incredible film, honestly, from start to finish, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. But at number 1 on my list, as you can see, it is The Testament of Ann Lee. This is Amanda Seyfried's career-turning performance that I promise you, you do not know or are ready for. Amanda Seyfried leads in such a way here that I just cannot even comprehend. It is beautifully crafted, beautifully done. Amanda Seyfried's performance, like I said, is the center of the whole show, and her voice, everything, it is just incredible. Perfection, in my opinion. Mona Fastvold, as the director, also is able to deliver some of the most gorgeous shots I've seen all year and of the 2020s. This is a movie I think that many people are going to be talking about for a long time, because what Mona Fastvold and Amanda Seyfried have been able to craft here is an epic unlike you've ever seen. This is truly what filmmaking is all about. And I'm excited to see when it comes to award season, because I think Amanda Seyfried has a high chance of taking awards, has a high chance at that Oscar, and I think that I am definitely seated for the renaissance that will come after this, because Amanda Seyfried is definitely that actor that you need to keep an eye out for. Incredible stuff here. But it was a great year. 2025 delivered some amazing films. I'm excited to get more into them. I'm going to be making videos for all of them again. I know I already did any explains and all that, but I'm here to tell you, there's so many explains and videos I want to redo. I feel like I didn't really give them enough breath. I didn't give them enough, I would say, polish. That's a big thing this year. I want to give you some more incredible videos, some more incredible quality, and I don't want to just do a lot of quantity. I've noticed that I've done that over the years where I just do quantity over quality. I want to do quality for you. I have other aspirations as well that I want to talk to you about, so stay tuned for that. But I'm very excited to start 2026 with this video, or I think I had another video. We had that Stranger Things video. But this is like the first real, hey, 2026 here. We're back. But my first official video will be out Monday. I'm very excited about that one, so stay tuned. Higher quality videos, better stuff, less quantity, more quality. That's 2026 goals, y'all. So stay tuned for that. But appreciate you for being subscribed. Appreciate you for listening. What is your top 10? Drop it below. As always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe.